All right, y'all, what's going on? It's your boy Pap the Disciple, King Pig, Mr. Referee, the hot seat. We back with another video, guys. So check this out. This video here is being brought to you by Vlad TV. He did the original interview. This is Big 30's lawyer. I'm gonna decipher and decode how dumb of a lawyer this guy is. Me, myself, it doesn't matter how big an upper echelon lawyer you are. You don't win cases without a good jury, period, and knowing how to pick juries. This guy here is just giving too much information as far as he kind of street. You can tell he's kind of a street type lawyer. He just have that suit on, make hiding the fact that, you know, that tight suit right there just makes him look kind of retarded. But yeah, let's listen to how dumb he sound when he get towards the end of this interview, when he talks about how it doesn't make sense for Gucci to press charges because his artist is winning. He can make millions off of the artist. Just dumb as hell. Let's get right into it. So I'm coming with the information. So slide into my notification and hit the bell with a beam and subscribe. Yeah, here we go.
Testified to at this point, there's been no physical evidence that corroborates the things that you're saying happened and occurred on that day.
Well, when it comes to your client, this is the Fed's overall accusations.
That it was a conspiracy, correct?
Right. Well, according to the Feds, when it comes to Big 30, they said that eyewitness accounts state that Big 30 went to the recording
Eyewitness account
studio during Pooh Shiesty's conversation with Gucci Mane and returned with a bag containing firearms. Eyewitnesses' accounts state that Big 30 filmed the release of the contract. Surveillance footage and eyewitness accounts placed Big 30 at the location, and following the offense, he was wearing similar clothing to what suspects in the kidnapping and robbery appeared to be wearing. And the cell phone records indicate that Big 30 traveled to Dallas, Texas in a vehicle registered to his father prior to the offense, and that places him in the area of the offense during the actual situation. And cell phone records indicate that Big 30 traveled back to Memphis, Tennessee with other target suspects on January 13, 2026. So some of these are indisputable.
And that's what I said to you earlier. I mean, some of the facts in the case, we're not going to disagree about. But I think the meat of what happened is sort of where we have a disagreement with the government. And you think about the guys that, I mean, and this is just common sense, Vlad, like the guys that rode back on the Greyhound. I mean, the car that was rented for them, probably once it got stolen, they had to take a bus back to Memphis instead of driving back to Memphis. So, and two, if there was some conspiracy to commit some big robbery, why would they go back to the same hotel they were staying at, spend the night? And
what do you mean, why would they? That's where they were at. That's where their room is at. Nobody don't know where their room is at. They're not presumed to be being followed. So they're going back to the room where they was at so that they can take off the next day. Stop playing.
Just hang out and then leave the next day.
That's what robbers do. They'll go back to the spot, chill out, get dubbed, chill out, relax, get some girls, and then they gonna bust out of there because they don't talk about what happened. They're not gonna be on the road. You know what I'm saying? So that makes no sense what you're saying.
That's sort of a common sense.
No, it's not. Stupid.
Hey, if they had committed this robbery, like, let's get on the road and get back to Memphis, or, it just, some of it doesn't jive well with.
It doesn't jive well.
What's being said, just the behavior.
Okay, you're going to just skip out everything Vlad said and say, well, we're not disagreeing on some of the stuff that happened, but we're talking about the car being stolen and them going back to the hotel. Man, that makes no sense at all, bro. Like, when lawyers don't have anything to stand on, they make the most outlandish statements for you all that don't know how to decode foolishness. Let's get back to the
Well, as Big 30's lawyer, what is your version of the events?
I can't go into I can't go into what my client and I have spoken about, obviously, for attorney-client purposes.
Bro, that dude is high, bro. This dude is high, bro. He just don't know what the hell he talking about.
All I can say is that we have a very different view and version of what happened.
Okay, what's your view and version? Gucci didn't already put it out. Gucci drops a diss about what happened. They all is in that studio. So you can't say that they wasn't at the studio because the trackers and everything, monitors, show everybody there. The producer or the sound engineer guy for Gucci admitted to being beat up and scuffed up and robbed out of his watch. The security guard, come on, what are you looking for? At this point, I would basically be telling my guy to try to take some type of pleas because it's overwhelming evidence, and you have corroborative people that was right there in the facility, giving statements, and Gucci Mane.
Are there plea deals on the table now for Big 30 to cooperate?
Right now, there's a criminal complaint. They haven't been indicted. I would expect there to be an indictment very soon. And I think the criminal complaint gives you an indication of what the indictment will probably look like, if there is one.
Well, it was reported that Pooh Shiesty's dad didn't get bond, but that was actually false because he did get bond.
Correct.
I want y'all to notice they got bonds, Big 30, Pooh Shiesty's dad. But at this present time, 3 days ago, they were not bonded out. You can get a bond, but not be bonded out. Two scenarios, you can have to get the money, or the judge have not agreed on the bond for releasement because they still have to. Well, he's going to explain it.
I think it was $250,000, 10%.
Okay, so you put up $25,000.
Correct.
And now he's out. Are any other co-defendants on bond?
So from my understanding today, everyone was granted a bond except the last person in the criminal complaint. And I can't remember his last name. And Mr. Rogers is in Atlanta, being held in Atlanta, has also been denied bond. So it's my understanding that everybody was given a bond except for Mr. Rogers.
Pooh Shiesty.
There was another individual,
and
the last name in their criminal complaint.
Okay. So, but is Pooh Shiesty's dad the only one that's actually out right now on bond?
None of them not out.
Nobody's out.
Thank you.
Oh, even
nobody's out, bruh.
Shiesty's dad's not out.
Yeah, so those bonds have been so those bonds are going to be appealed. It's my understanding they'll be appealed to the district judge in Dallas.
Yep.
And we'll have to go back and have the entire hearing over again.
So for y'all who don't know, a little bit slow to this, all of the people were given a bond, but Pooh Shiesty and another of his cooperative, right? But they have not been released. None of the people with the bond have been released because they have to go before a judge to see if they will release them after they go back to court. And their bonds could go up. You see, we don't know.
The entire detention hearing over again.
Got it. So what's applying to Big 30 is applying to every other co-defendant.
Yep.
Everyone that's been granted a bond.
Yeah, exactly. The bond.
The government is basically saying we don't agree with the magistrate's ruling, and we want the sitting judge to hear to to rehear the detention hearing on all these individuals that were granted bonds.
Well, if this does go to trial, will every co-defendant have a separate lawyer, or will there be one central lawyer in the legal team?
I'm having my own lawyer, you mean?
No, everyone will have their own counsel.
That was stupid for Vlad to say anyway. Like, you could, everybody could, but it really don't look good for everybody to have the same lawyer, because guess what? If one of them go down, everybody with that lawyer going down too.
And sometimes in cases like this, if everybody is working together, you can have a joint defense agreement where all
a joint defense agreement is everybody have their own lawyer, but they all working together. Joint, like my bones, your bones are joints. They're all working together in the case, but with separate lawyers.
All the individuals agree to work together. Typically in federal cases, if somebody flips and becomes a cooperating witness for the government, then they wouldn't go to trial, obviously.
And guess what? Guess who that's gonna be? Big 30 gonna flip. Guarantee you Big 30 gonna look at, man, I'm out here making all these millions. My family about to lose out because I'm being a stand-up guy for Pooh Shiesty, and he about to go do life in prison. Hey man, look, check this out. Go to my last video and you'll hear Hernandez say, I wouldn't want to be in Pooh Shiesty's case, period.
Would be a witness.
So they would be severed from the case, in a way. Severed from the defense.
Correct.
Got it. Okay,
and I'm not saying that there's a joint defense agreement right now. I'm saying that's potentially a possibility, but everybody will have their own counsel, and everybody will have to decide based on the evidence what's in their best interest going forward.
Yeah.
The interesting part from our perspective will be if you have cooperating victims.
Cooperating victims, they're already doing the talking. So
because in the past,
right.
I mean, in the past, I handled cases involving where a young Dolph was a victim, alleged victim. I represented Black Youngster in Charlotte, and there were two other individuals charged along with Black Youngster. We were successful in getting that case dismissed, and we worked really hard to get them dismissed prior to trial. But the other issue was young Dolph was not a cooperating victim or alleged victim.
Yeah. See, young Dolph wasn't going to do no kind of, he wasn't going to say nothing. That's why. Young Dolph did not go speak to the police or talk to the police. That's what he mean by corroborating victim. Young Dolph was not, quote unquote, a snitch. That's why they was able to beat that case. But had he done what Gucci Man has did, filed a report saying that they took my jewelry, which puts him as a corroborative person, victim, Pooh Shiesty and him has messed up big time.
Right, because from what I understand, this whole case will probably hinge on Gucci Mane not just cooperating, but actually taking the stand.
That's correct.
No, it's not. The other cooperative victims that was there has to drop their case. But the feds move totally different. Let's say all of those guys retract their statements. The feds gonna say, okay, nah, you know what? That's okay. They don't want to give up and be called snitches or whatever. Let's trace their whereabouts. Let's get their GPSs and see about this contract agreement that they had Gucci to quote unquote sign. And from what we've heard, they already have went and found where they did the copies and everything. You see what I'm saying? So the feds move in a totally different operation than state. So either way it go, they cook because they got evidence of beating up the engineer. The off-duty police or retired police have already made a statement. Gucci Man has made the statement in the zone. He can't take that back. He don't have to go testify. All right, here we go.
Right, because if Gucci says no comment, I'm not going to show up. Could he be forced to actually show up in Memphis because he lives in Georgia?
The alleged incident happened in
Dallas.
So he would have to show up in Dallas if he's subpoenaed, but he could plead the fifth, because if the story that he initially told, if he did tell the story, is not true, then he would have, filed a false complaint.
Yep.
But again, looking at what he said this weekend, unless he's just putting that out there for the public so that people don't think that he's a cooperating witness with the government, he has nothing to do with it.
They talking about when Gucci said, one thing I don't do, don't go tell the police, don't do this and that. That's what he was referring. Gucci Mane didn't drop the whole diss song now.
This case.
I mean, look, I have a interview from I think about 20 years ago with Gucci Mane, where he said on camera that he would rather die than snitch.
I never snitch on niggas. Well, we won't do that. For real, this used to allow us all to say, niggas I fought with, we won't do that. We won't snitch on niggas. We stand down for ourselves. Like, if I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't always snitch on nigga to save nobody's life, not even my own. I die.
He said that on camera. He said,
and he have not snitched yet. Gucci Mane have not snitched. He filed a police report about his jewelry, period, and saying who was there. He ain't snitching, saying nothing about no Dracos or none of that.
Would never snitch, not even against his own enemies. He'd rather die than snitch. So now, when this paperwork has gotten released, and there seems to be some indications of Gucci Mane co-op.
Some indications. So that's what, 50-50? He's
operating. Like, there's videos of people in prison throwing out their Gucci Mane book, because now they consider him a snitch and everything else like that. And I mean, if you think about it, like, Gucci is one of the main anti-snitch type rappers ever.
Well, and this is nothing to do with the case per se.
Watch what he about to say right now, which tells me he a thug lawyer anyway. He in the streets.
But just one of the things that I thought about,
and he putting this out over the air for Gucci Mane to hear. You see, he's saying this so that when Gucci Mane watches this, he's throwing a little, like, letting Gucci Mane know this what you should do. Hey, watch.
Before coming over here today to sit down with you was, why would you want to put your best artist that's made you millions of dollars back in federal custody for a decade or more?
Y'all see? Do y'all hear what he's saying? Why would you want to put your number one artist back in jail that made you millions of dollars when he said?
Right? Like, it doesn't make sense. Because he drops FDO.
This guy is, he's a thug lawyer. He drops FDO. You know what I'm saying? He listens to all that stuff. He 1 foot in, 1 foot out too.
It's the number one song in the world, right? And he's signed to your label. So why would you want to put him back into custody when potentially Pooh Shiesty could make you millions and millions of dollars more?
Well, you robbed me, nigga. You robbed me, gun range, and my partners who was with me, or the people that was with me, with drinks all in my face. Go back and watch the Hernandez video, how he did Gucci down bad. Go watch it. That's why these people gonna cooperate. Gucci Mane is not going to court and say that no Draco, he gonna play the fifth. He not gonna say nothing. It's in his music.
But there is a theory about this, right? And I tweeted about this and posted on Instagram, and it went viral like a lot of my stuff does. And here's a possible dilemma. I'm not saying this is the truth, But here's a possible dilemma. From the outside looking in, it appears that Gucci signed this release under duress. Now, if it's proven that it was signed under duress, then the contract gets thrown out and Pooh Shiesty is still signed to Gucci for however many albums. But if Gucci says nothing happened, I'm not going to say that it was signed under duress, then the release is valid. And Pooh Shiesty is no longer signed to a Gucci Mane. So there's that angle to look at. I don't know how serious it is. Me personally, if I was Gucci, I would just let it go. You know, at the end.
Okay, watch this right here. Pooh Shiesty lawyer says they never presented any contract.
He's already made money off Pooh Shiesty, and if the alternative is sending Pooh Shiesty to prison, I would just say, I'm not going to cooperate. But then again, people get greedy, and sometimes they're just going after every dollar. So I don't know what's going to happen, but this is a theory in this case.
Well, I think even from a legal perspective, nobody has produced this document.
See?
Because
nobody produced the document, right? So y'all can't say that happened. Nobody produced it yet.
It's some corroborating evidence.
Right.
So let's say the feds say, all right, we don't feel like we have enough to go forward. And then a few years later, they produce this document. Now you've corroborated the criminal complaint. That's a piece of evidence.
Gucci Mane already said in the song, you down bad or whatever, you did this right here, and you still signed to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, until the document is produced, Pooh Shiesty is still signed to Gucci Mane right now, as we speak, until it's officially produced and Atlantic Records gets notified or whatever.
You're probably still signed to him based on this theory that it was signed under duress.
Well, anyway, listen, guys, y'all go listen to the rest of the video. I don't want to be too long. We just decoding the decode, man. The lawyer, pretty much saying that, you know, Big 30, that's his lawyer. If y'all want to go listen to what he's saying about his client, y'all go back and check out the Vlad interview, the entire interview. I'm just here decoding some information that I hear that they try to put in codes of silence. You know what I'm saying? So, it's your boy, Pap to the site, Mr. Referee, the hot seat, DZ on Media. Y'all holler at me when y'all get a chance. Don't forget, man, hit the like button, man. You know, give me a couple of subs, man. Give me up to the grand, you know. Give me 1K sub, man. Y'all help the old time out. Peace, and I'm out of here.